Welcome to Option Trades Today. I'm Tony the Baptiste, and I've got a trade idea for you today, February 16th, 2022. Let's take a look at what's going on in the market. Even the S&P is down around 27, 28 points. After being down about 50, they've rallied back half of that. Now, I'm taking a look at volatility, up 70 cents, and volatility has been contracting, as you can see, over the last 3 or 4 days. I look at volatility not only for finding trades, but for what I think the market is going to do for that day. Now, volatility, as you can see, is mid-range at the higher end of the day. I look at volatility futures /VX. I think they're a much better indication of what's going on a daily time frame as opposed to VIX, which is set to expiration price on like a Wednesday when those futures expire to VIX. So I like /VX. We can go into a volatility discussion on another podcast if you like, but I like to look at volatility and see what's going on with it to give me what's going to go on with the rest of the market. And to be quite frank, volatility staying bid today, so I would expect the market to, kind of stay here or go a little bit lower. I wouldn't expect us to go green, although you do have some stocks, Tesla being, I guess, the biggest name, giving us a little bit of a rally to the market and holding the market up quite nicely. Tesla up another $2 today. So you do have some outlier moves in here in the overall market. We'll see if I have egg on my face by the end of the day, but let's move on. I like to go to our watch list. I like to look at the high option volume stocks because I'm going to look for an option volume trade. You'll notice that since I had Tesla up there, it will highlight Tesla for you down here. Anytime I were to click on a stock, let's just go to UNG for argument's sakes, it'll move it and highlight it for you. So you can find it in the list if it wasn't in any kind of order. I have mine with the high IV rank to the upside first. These would be the highest ones. You can click on it twice and make it go to low IV rank if you're looking to do maybe a diagonal or a calendar spread. You want to use less buying power. If you're looking to sell premium, I like to go to high IV rank, start from the top down. I also like to avoid earnings. I just took off my trade in Google that I had on. I'm going to go to the follow page real quick here because I get a lot of questions on follow-up trades to everything that we're doing here. And if you take a look at Bob the Trader IRA, that's me right there. If you click on it, it'll do away with everybody else's profiles that you have here. And you'll take a look in Google yesterday. I said kick, save, and a beauty. I like to use my my hockey references there. Stayed mechanical with 2 roll downs and got a little volatility contraction. Of course, you always need the stock to help you too. I was able to get out with a scratch trade that we just put on the 7th. But if you take a look at Google from the 7th on, let me go here and put in Google for you. Excuse me. If you take a look at what Google did when I put this trade on, remember, here's Google, here's the 6th and the 7th. Google making moves up to 107, went down by almost $10 or $12, putting on a strangle. You want the stock to stay sideways, and the stock went significantly lower. Volatility actually contracted in that time frame until it came down. So we got everything wrong on this trade. A direction, I wanted it to go sideways. It went significantly lower. I wanted volatility to contract. Volatility actually expanded, and we had to use a lot of our mechanics to make this trade into even just a scratch trade. Matter of fact, if you would have kept it on today, you probably would have had a winning trade, but that's neither here nor there. So what am I looking for? I'm going to my high IV rank. I freed up some buying power. I want to look for another trade that doesn't have earnings, still has a high IV rank. One of those trades that I found that had earnings is UPST. Now, Upstart should be highlighted. It is. You'll notice I also like to see the IVX 5-day change going higher over the last 5 days. This is what volatility in UPST has done over the last 5 days, and it's actually contracted 14%. Now, it still has a high IV rank of 35, but you say, Bat, why would you look to put on a premium selling trade with volatility contracting. Now remember, UPST had earnings just a couple of days ago, and UPST after earnings actually went significantly higher. Now we've done a lot of research on stocks after earnings, and they typically is that 75 to 80% of the time, stay in that same kind of zone, or in this case, it was a higher movement after earnings. They usually stay in that higher, do not fill in the gap, contrary to prior belief, on the stock in a short period of time, meaning the next month or so. So for me, in Upstart, I still have relatively high volatility. Look, as it went into earnings, volatility expanded, but you can see here it's at the higher end of its level. So I'm saying to myself, listen, if I can find a trade where my break even is back down around its most recent lows and still get paid if the stock goes higher, maybe this becomes an interesting trade, not only from looking at it from a tasty live point of view. You've got high IVR, liquid markets, low price stock, low basis, and we've done some research where stocks usually tend to go in the same type of direction or go sideways after they've had earnings. Maybe we could find a decent trade in here. So what I did was I went to April. I like to put on trades with around 45 days. I like to avoid the weekly options in here, especially in a stock like Upstart where the markets might be a little bit wider than we really want. So March with 29 days is just a little bit too short dated because we like to roll, close, or change the trade when there's around 21 days left to expiration. So that means I'd have to do something in Upstart in the next 8 days. That's just not giving me enough time to be right. So I'm going to go to an April here. I'm going to go to an Omni directional trade. Again, we were just talking about what would our direction be. I'm going to be a little bit bullish on the stock with the stock down $1.50 after earnings, leaning on some of the research. And again, you can see that there's plenty of volume here. Markets seem to be 10 cents wide. Good, not great. Of course, I'd like to see them a lot tighter than this, but 10 cents works. So what am I going to do? I'm going to buy the at-the-money put because I'm going to be a little bit aggressive here. If you wanted to be less aggressive, you certainly can go down a strike. I'm going to look to buy one of the at-the-money puts, and I'm going to steal a page from what Tom has been doing prior to earnings. This is a post-earnings trade, but prior to earnings, I'm going to go down and I'm going to do a ratio spread. All I need to know is what my ratio is going to be. Look at this, though. On a stock that has a nice high almost 120% monthly implied volatility, I'm able to go $5 wide on a stock that's only trading at $20. Usually on stocks, under $30 or so, you can maybe go $2.50 wide or $3 wide. Rare. You really need a high monthly implied volatility to be able to go so wide on a ratio spread and get any type of credit. Now I'm going to go 1 by 2 here. Let me change this. I'm so sorry. I'm going to go 1 by 2 here. I'm going to buy one of the 20 puts and sell 2 of the 15 puts. Now, you'll notice this is a debit. I don't like to do these ratio spreads for a debit, even though the pop is 40%, maybe a little bit higher than that. I'm going to lose 86 cents if the stock goes higher. So I'm going to steal a page from Sosnoff, and I'm going to add another put here. I'm going to click on the 15 put. I'm going to highlight just that, and when I do, it will move the amount of contracts on just the 15 put alone. Did you see how if I click less, it'll go down, and if I click more, it will go higher. So I'm going to do a 1 by 3 ratio spread. I got filled at 77 cents with the stock trading at $20. So to give you an idea, you might be able to get filled at 78 cents or higher on this. The higher credit you receive, the better off you are. This has an almost 80% probability of success, so I love that. I love being outside a 68% pop if I'm putting on any type of trade, especially one with a directional bias. This has 22 long deltas. It goes to my bias of being long on here, and I'm collecting $3.80 in theta decay on the stock. My beta weighted delta is quite small at under 2 deltas to the SPY. Remember, we're beta weighting something, we're beta weighting it to SPY, and I'm using about $1,250 in buying power. Now, if $1,250 in buying power is too much money for you, or if you're in an IRA account and you're using closer to $2,000 in buying power, you certainly can go to the 5 puts. And again, this is only for reducing the amount of buying power you're using, and go in and buy 2 of the 5 puts. If you go in and buy 2 of the 5 puts, you'll be using that same $1,400, $1,500 that we're using in a margin account. If you just hold on to that and drag it to the 7.5, you'll notice that you're using $950 in buying power. Of course, your credit's going to be a little bit lower, but let me get back to that in one quick second. All I'm trying to show you here is that no matter what type account you're in, you can always use less buying power, and you're really only giving up about 15 cents in potential profits by defining your risk and buying that out of the money wing. Not quite as powerful in a $20 stock, but if it was a $200 stock, you'd be able to find it a lot more useful for you. All right, I'm buying 1 of the 20 puts, selling 3 of the 15 puts. This is an omnidirectional bullish ratio spread. And you'll notice here, if you go back to the follow page and you look at Upstart, I got filled when the stock was right around $20. I said $20.17. The IVR is 36. The IVR has come down ever so slightly. My pop is 78%, and I got filled at 77 cents. I always put in a little blurb here for you to read. There's a 1x3 omnidirectional bullish ratio spread, which I'll explain to you in 1 second. If you are following along on my Roku trade today, I'm rolling the untested side. I'm taking my puts up from 55 to 65, and I'm collecting $2.57 on that trade. So if you wanted to just look at my Roku trade alone, and I know I'm showing you a lot today. I'm doing like a software demo for you guys. You can just type in Roku here, and you can see the opening trade and all of the rolls that I've done on this trade, and any type of note that I put in all of these. Again, always on the Tastyworks platform. You'll always have this. Everybody has it. Let's go back to the trade page real quick. Give you some of the break evens on here. As you can see from that green line, there's no risk to the upside. That's what makes this a bullish trade. Matches my bullish assumption. What's the maximum profit on this? Well, you might say it's the credit that you sold this for. I sold it for 77 cents. That's your max profit, but you would be wrong. I expect to make the 77 cents because I expect Upstart to go higher. But let's say I'm completely wrong, and you take a look at the 15 strike, which we're short. If you want to change the volume to probability of touch, if you want to, well, there's a 65% chance that it touches 15. Well, let's say it closes at 15. What do I have? Remember, you're long 1 of the 20 puts, and you're short 3 of the 15 puts. Those three 15 puts would be worth 0. Your 20 put at expiration, that's 64 days from now, and an exact 15 pin, which is highly unlikely at expiration. But this spread that you're long one time would be worth $5. So you can make $575 if that's where you sold yours at, on $1,250 worth of risk. That's the best case scenario. But what am I really looking to make? I'm really looking to make the credit I received on this one overall trade. So for me, that's the trade that I'm looking to put on in Upstart. 1x3, 20 by 120 put I'm buying, 315 puts I'm selling. I'm using $1,500 or about $1,250 in buying power. Do me a favor, open up an account at Tastyworks. Here's my shameless plug. Open up an account at Tastyworks. Do it today. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Any issues? Email Tom at tastytrade.com. He can fix everything and take care of some of the amazing offers that we have at Tastyworks, the #1 platform for options by U.S. News and World Report. Peace.